dear viewers, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of this exclusive season of AHKAM SOS, live from the Holy Land of Bayn al-Haramain and the land of Abi Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam and his beloved brother Abil Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam. And as you all know, dear viewers, this show is dedicated to be discussing Islamic laws, do's and don'ts, and to be answering all of your questions regardless of any marja you follow. Now you can send in those questions via WhatsApp or via the YouTube comments. You can just drop them in the comment section below our live on our YouTube channel at Imam Hussein TV 3, or you can give us a call via WhatsApp, exclusively via WhatsApp, or you can just scan the barcode presented to you alongside with the number, and inshallah our WhatsApp page will pop up, so you can send in your questions or give us a call, and we'll be at your excuse me. We'll be at your service in answering all of your questions, inshallah. Now, before we get into that, I am your host, Musa Ali, and I would like to introduce our honorable guest, Sheikh Ali Maash. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. How are you doing tonight? I hope you didn't forget our dear viewers in your prayers at the shrine of Abi Abdullah Hussein. May Allah bless you, inshallah. I believe you have a small dua to start our show, inshallah.
Yes. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى أخيك أبو العباس ورحمة الله وبركاته. In Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq by Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. The dua starts with beautiful words, and the whole dua is beautiful. The Imam says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa balligh bi imani akmal al-iman. Cause my faith to be a most perfect faith and iman. I don't want to have an iman in which is incomplete. An iman filled with doubts about the aqidah. An iman in which I would raise doubts about some of the ahkam, for example. No, I need a perfect iman. وَاجْعَلْ يَقِينِي أَفْضَلَ الْيَقِينِ, and make my certainty most excellent certainty. Again, the yaqeen and the certainty to be an excellent, a complete certainty without any, again, doubts or misunderstandings of the aqidah or religion anyhow. وانتهي بنيتي إلى أحسن النيات, and take my intentions to the best of intentions. I want to make sure that I have the best of intentions without any mix of showing off riya and so forth, fame إلى آخره. وبعملي إلى أحسن الأعمال, and my works to be the best of works and deeds. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal in the beginning of the dua to have the best faith, to have the best certainty, and to have the best intention and deed as well. Because with this complete package, the one can elevate to the perfection levels in iman and taqwa, and reach high stages of takamul and perfection, and be one of the awliya salihin, inshallah.
Inshallah, may Allah bless you, Shaykh, and thank you very much. And we have a few questions that have come in early, and it says, the first one is from WhatsApp, and it says, chess initially may have been a gambling game, but it cannot be attributed as a game which involves gambling. Now, the hadith mentioned by the Shaykh yourself attributed chess as a gambling game, and hence the ruling was haram. Given the above circumstances, is there any other hadith that states chess is haram without attributing it to a gambling game?
You see, initially we have experts in this field who understand the hadith and the Quran, and they're the ulama.
Yes, correct.
Our ulama in the past and present, in which they would evaluate and study and search the dalil and the evidence before issuing a verdict or fatwa. So with their extensive research, of course, they have reached a conclusion that yes, we have a nas, we have a hadith text which says chess is haram, so we have to avoid it. As I've said before, these are originally made as for the purpose of gambling. Even if today's card, the heart and the king, maybe in the future could become as games played by the kids without money, for example. But that does not, it's not going to make this game as a halal game, because now people play it without gambling and betting. They remain haram.
Yeah, made for gambling.
We have, that's what I'm saying. We have nas from the Ma'soom hadith, the tafsir of the Ma'soom alayhi salam, when it comes to the ayah mentioned earlier, a couple of days ago. So we stick with the Sharia. MashaAllah, we have lots of other games we can play.
Yeah, correct.
I'm sure halal games we can easily replace it with. Dunya is dunya of tests and trials. We are in this world to take tests and move to the hereafter. If I want to play with the hadith or sharia or the verse and try to maneuver it to what I would be, for example, fulfills my desires, of course. There's a lady, I think she's a university lecturer in Tunisia.
Yeah.
She doesn't wear hijab, but she covers her body fully. And she says that there's no evidence in the Quran which says the woman should cover their hair. And she uses the Quranic ayah and the tafsir and so forth. So, it's easy to play with the hadith.
Correct, yes.
As ISIS played with this hadith, with the riwayat and the Quran to kill whoever is against them, for example. We shouldn't touch whatever is not our own understanding and of knowledge. We have to go back to those who have the knowledge. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask those who know, if you don't know. That's basically it.
May Allah bless you, Shaykhna. Thank you very much. And we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, I feel like there are so many prayers and so many actions to do within our religion. I feel like I will forever fall short. How is Allah going to judge me?
Allah Azza wa Jal would judge the one with his a'mal.
Yes.
If he or she does with a'mal, of course they will gain the paradise. As the hadith mentioned that the grave is either a piece of paradise or a pit of hellfire, according to the a'mal of the insan. If you know what is haram and what is wajib, and you implement them, inshallah you'll be on the safe side. And
yes.
As hadith mentions, faizun, winners. But if you are ignorant and you don't want to learn and you just want to ignore the ahkam Allah Azza wa Jalla, of course you're going to fall into the acts of haram. And even if you come to the Day of Judgment and say to Allah, I didn't know, they will tell you, هل لا تعلمت أو لما لا تعلمت? Why didn't you go and learn? You go and learn driving, to be able to drive cars, for example. School, college, university, for the purpose of career and jobs. Ahkam Allah Azza wa Jalla are the most important. For the ones should learn these ahkam, the basic ones, the wajib ones, so that they would not fall into the acts of haram. We have also hadith, ما مضمونه التاجر فاجر ما لم يتفقه.
Correct, yes.
The merchant would be corrupt if he doesn't learn, if he doesn't know the ahkam of the buying and selling.
Yes.
Because he might fall into the acts of giving or taking riba and other muharramat within the transactions.
May Allah bless you, Shaykhna. And thank you very much. And we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, is music or any tone allowed in Noha?
As I've said before, it's better to avoid inserting music within the Noha or the religious nasheed and poetry and so forth. Because there are lots of muqalladeen of other maraja' who cannot listen to this Noha because of their marja' say that it's haram.
Correct.
To listen to any type of music, classical or non-classical. So you're going to lose viewers or listeners as a result. If you're a radud or a mullah and so forth, a Nawh Khan. So you have to make sure that you don't insert any music and keep these nasheed, Noha clear from music, inshallah.
Inshallah, may Allah bless you, Shaykhna. And thank you very much, dear viewers. Before we get back into the questions, I would like to remind you all that you can send in your questions via WhatsApp, or you can just drop them in the comment section on our YouTube live, at our YouTube channel, at Imam Hussein TV 3, or you can give us a call via WhatsApp, via the number presented to you at the bottom of the screen, or you can just give us a call via the number, or via the number presented to you at the bottom of the screen as well, or you can scan the barcode presented to you alongside with the number, and inshallah our WhatsApp page will pop up, so you can send in your questions or give us a call, and we'll be at your service in answering all of those questions, regardless of any marja' you follow. Now, Shaykhna, we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, is chicken bacon halal?
Again, if it's bacon, of course it's haram.
Yes.
And if it's chicken from non-halal source, is also haram. So you have to make sure that you're consuming halal meat or chicken.
Yes.
You have to be certain that this is halal meat or chicken. You can't just pop in any shop and buy in a non-Muslim country and then you just walk off. You have to make sure it's halal.
Yeah.
From a halal Muslim butchery, for example, or restaurant, and that should be fine, inshallah.
Inshallah. May Allah bless you, Sheikh, and thank you very much. And we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, Assalamu alaikum. I want to know that how much break we must maintain between Asr and Dhuhr and Maghrib and Isha prayers.
If you want to basically observe the Asr as well,
Yeah.
you have to see the time for the Asr. I'm not sure exactly what is the exact time for the Asr. We usually combine the Salat, Dhuhr, Asr, and Maghrib, Isha. So you have to find out the actual Asr time. It could be an hour and a half after Dhuhr. So it depends really.
Yes.
And to observe the Asr as well, you should be doing the Amal and Taqibat of the Salat al-Dhuhr all the way to the Asr, and then perform the Asr. Otherwise, joining the Salah is better, definitely.
Correct. May Allah bless you, Sheikh, and thank you very much. And we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, Assalamu alaikum. Which night is Qadr night?
Of course, we have narration which speaks about the first night and then second, and of course there's emphasis on the second and then third night, especially the third night. So there's a possibility that it's the third night, as they call it, Qadr al-Kubra,
Yes.
the grand Qadr night, on the night of 23rd.
Okay. May Allah bless you, Sheikh, and thank you very much. Dear viewers, I believe we have the first phone call on the line, and we say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Shahr Ramadan Mubarak to you and your blessed family, and may Allah accept your deeds. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
May Allah bless you, brother, and thank you very much for your call. And we are at your service, inshallah, in answering your question. Can you hear me, brother? Hello? Brother, if you could just lower the volume of the TV, and we'll, inshallah, be at your service in answering your question. I believe the line was disconnected. May Allah bless you. If you could call us again, we'll be at your service, inshallah. This goes to all the dear viewers out there, that you can give us a call, and inshallah, we'll be at your service in answering all of your questions, inshallah. And this call has to be via WhatsApp, and we'll be at your service, inshallah. Sheikh, now we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, can I play a card game with a group of friends that are not Muslim, and this group includes the opposite gender?
You see, what they say, Mawatan al-Shaytan, or the location or the spots in which Shaitan would attend, are in these places and locations. One should avoid it, because at the end of the day, you're going to have cracking jokes, banter, laugh. That will result to the acts of haram. Correct, it's not going to be just a solid, and a dry conversation, or let's say, it's going to cause some kind of laugh and banter, which is of course haram. Mufakih, as the fiqh mentioned, that's haram. So one should avoid such gatherings, definitely.
Inshallah. May Allah bless you, Shaykh, and thank you very much. And we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, how can you explain Quran as an intercessor on the Day of Judgment according to the hadith of the Ma'soomeen, alayhi salatu wassalam?
Of course, we have, anyhow, there are shufa'a on the Day of Judgment. But interestingly, when you read the Quran, that the Prophet ﷺ or the Rasul comes on the Day of Judgment and says that my ummah took this Quran mahjura, that they neglected this Quran on the Day of Judgment. So many could not be able to gain that intercession, because many Muslims did not follow the Quran practically. Yes, they've read, memorized Quran, they've recited beautifully, but did not practice the Quran accordingly. When, let's say, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in many occasions in famous hadith in the Shia and non-Shia books, that Kitab Allah wa'atarti Ahl Bayti, that I leave the book of Allah and my progeny, my family. Majority of Muslims in that time did not follow the progeny. They ignored and neglected the progeny as a result. So they did not practice the Quran. So the Quran would be complaining against those who neglected the prophetic teachings and Sunnah
Yes.
and his Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam.
May Allah bless you, Shaykh, and thank you very much. And we have another question, and it is via WhatsApp, and it says, Assalamu alaikum. I have been a patient of kidney stones on and off since a long time, and as per the doctor's advice, I fast 2 days and skip the third. However, I complete all my qada fasts before the next Ramadan starts. Do I have to pay kafara or only keep the qada fast, which I've skipped, as it's a medical condition?
You see, the kafara word is used for somebody who breaks his fast intentionally. Somebody who is not ill,
Yes.
He's not in trouble, suffer. Somebody who is not, she's not in a monthly cycle, for example, and other causes in which would make them to, as a wajib to break their fast, because they cannot fast. The one who's musafir or the monthly cycle, they cannot fast anyhow. The one who breaks intentionally his fast, of course, needs to pay for kafara of 60 poor individuals to feed them,
Yes.
or to fast 2 consecutive months. So this brother needs not to pay any in terms of the kafara, because it's not an intentional,
Yes.
breaking of fast. That's a different issue.
Okay. May Allah bless you, Shaykh, and thank you very much. I believe we have another caller on the line, and we say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Shahr Ramadan Mubarak to you and your blessed family, inshallah. May Allah accept your deeds and grant you a speedy visit to Karbala, inshallah. Hello?
Hello.
At your service, brother. May Allah bless you, inshallah. You can ask your question.
Yes. Who is the now?
I'm sorry, brother? Hello? I believe the line was disconnected. Inshallah, the brother can call us once again and we'll be at your service, inshallah. Shaykh, we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, is it permissible to engage in a mut'ah relationship?
You see, we have 2 types of marriage.
Yeah.
The long-term marriage and the short-term marriage, and they
Correct.
both were legislated by the Prophet ﷺ in his time. Even Ahlul Sunnah narrate that the Prophet allowed for the short-term marriage in his time, but then he forbid it, as they say. But what we say that from according to Ahlul Sunnah's narrations, that the one who forbid the short-term marriage is Umar ibn Khattab, when he said mut'atan kanat ala ahdi Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi that I would prevent those 2 mut'ah al-nisa and mut'at al-hajj. So I would prevent and I would punish whoever performs them. And I've mentioned before that we have some Sahaba in which they were born from mut'ah. So accusing Shia that they have such a marriage, it was in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they confess, they know it was. But the issue is about forbidding this act. You cannot forbid something which was halal, because halal Muhammad halal ila yawm al-qiyamah, wa haram ila yawm al-qiyamah. You cannot say alcohol was halal in the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, na'udhu billah, and now in the time of Prophet it's haram. It's haram from Adam alayhi salam, alcohol, or zina, na'udhu billah. These are filthy acts, when it comes to alcohol, zina, na'udhu billah. But when we have marriage, tashri' marriage, why not? And that's Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam which allowed it. So some try to, as I've said before, they try to accuse the Shia of such marriage, and they have similar marriages in Egypt and Arabia. As I've said before, it's called misyar, misfar, the marriage with the intention of divorce.
Yeah.
All types of short-term marriages are implemented in the Arab region, in the Middle East, but with different names, just to avoid to being like the Shia.
Names,
exactly.
Correct.
And accuse the Shia that they have such a marriage.
May Allah bless you, Shaykh, and thank you very much. And we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, so it's a follow-up to the mut'ah question. Is it permissible to engage in a mut'ah relationship with someone who is a modern-day Christian?
Yes, some ulama would allow for the one to be in such relationship for a short term and not long term if they are married to a Muslim woman. There are conditions, now we have some fatwa with this regard, that some would allow just for the short term because they have a wife who is a Muslim, so he can't marry a long term, let's say temporary marriage. By long term I mean 2-3 years, for example, with this Christian, for example. It's just a short term, 1 or 2, 3 days, for example, less than a week, for example, because he's married to a Muslim woman. So there are certain rules with this regard. Again, some ulama would discuss again about marrying for long term. Is it allowed or not? Depends on the marriage.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, we'll take a very short break to leave you with the beautiful atmosphere of Karbala, and also to give you a chance to be under the dome of Abi Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, to say your prayers, say your du'as, say your ziyarah. May Allah answer them all and grant you a visit to Karbala as soon as possible. So do stay tuned. Send in your questions via WhatsApp or via YouTube comments, or give us a call via the number presented to you at the bottom of the screen, also via WhatsApp, or you could just scan the barcode presented to you at the bottom of the screen, and inshallah our WhatsApp page will pop up so you can send in your questions and give us a call. We'll be at your service in answering them regardless of any marja you follow. So do stay tuned. Thank you very much.
have a question regarding keeping pictures
Is
of
it
scholars at
permissible to
home.
plant trees by or
What
over
Islam
the
establish
graves?
based on peace
Is
and
it permissible
non-violence?
to collect donations for charity projects from
Is it permitted to consume canned food imported from non-Muslim
Is there an
countries?
issue for men looking at non-Muslim women?
To have your questions answered live, WhatsApp us on +44 7415 092155.
Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome once again to this exclusive season of AHKAM SOS live from the holy land of Karbala. And this show is dedicated to be answering all of your questions regardless of any marja' you follow. Now you can send in those questions via WhatsApp, or you can just drop them in the comment section below our live on our YouTube channel at Imam Hussein TV 3, or you can give us a call via the number presented to you at the bottom of the screen, also via WhatsApp, or you can scan the barcode presented to you alongside with the number, and inshallah our WhatsApp page will pop up, so you can send in your questions or give us a call. Inshallah we'll be at your service in answering all of your questions. Now Sheikh, we have a question, and it says, what is the ruling if one doubts between the 3 or 4? Would his salah be invalidated?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. If one had such an issue in salah as a doubt between
Yes.
3 and 4, these are shukuk sahih, or the correct doubts. One can correct the salah in a way, so they can base it on 4 bina al akthar, and then they finish the salah.
Yes.
And they stand straight away without moving to the left or to the right, continuing with the rak'at al-ihtiyat. So they start the rak'at al-ihtiyat just to fulfill and cover any missing rak'ah.
Yes.
Because it's between 3 and 4, it could be 3. So that rak'at al-ihtiyat would cover and replace any missing rak'ah. So that should be fine.
Inshallah. May Allah bless you, Shaykhna. And thank you very much. And we have another question, and it says, how to pay zakat?
If it's to do with zakat, fitra and Eid,
Yes.
of course we have for the one who is Sayyid to pay zakat for the Sayyid, and who is non-Sayyid to pay zakat to the non-Sayyid.
Yeah.
And it depends on what country you live in terms of the cost of the let's say food, the wheat, rice, bread and so forth, an amount to be paid. So that's to do with zakat al-fitra on each head. So if you're 5 in the family, you pay on each head zakat al-fitra, an amount given. It could be in UK, let's say £6, £7. I don't know how much. In the US could be $6, $7, $8. I'm not sure how much back in the US or Canada. But in the UK, it's usually between £6, £7 for each head. Yeah, that's zakat al-fitra. If you mean by zakat of the an'am or cattle, if you have cattle, a certain amount of cattle,
Yeah.
let's say 40 sheep or camels and so forth, you pay let's say one sheep for every amount of number, for example. Or if you have, let's say, raisins and barley, I think wheat and so forth,
Yeah.
reaching around 800 and something kilograms, 900 kilograms threshold, you pay zakat. I think it's around 2.5%.
Yeah.
So that's to the zakat, those who have farms and lands. Usually we don't have such great amount of
Correct. Yeah.
cattle or lands or farms. So it's mainly for those who are in villages and remote areas from the cities.
Yeah.
But the zakat for us is zakat al-fitra. And of course we have also the hummus for annual hummus day that comes.
Yeah.
You have to calculate how much money you have as a surplus, unspent, unused that money, or gifts. Then you have to pay hummus on those 1/5 of the amount.
May Allah bless you, Shaykhna. Thank you very much. Dear viewers, I believe we have a phone call on the line, and we say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shahr Ramadan Mubarak to you and your blessed family, inshallah. May Allah accept your deeds.
Walaikum assalam.
May Allah bless you, brother. And thank you very much for your call. You can ask your question.
What are the minutes to make dua which gets Qabul according to Imam Zain?
I'm sorry, brother, if you could repeat your question because your voice is breaking up.
what are the manners to make dua which gets qabul according to Imam Zainal Abidin alayhi salam?
What are the minutes of dua to make for Imam Zain al-Abidin
Yes.
at your service? May Allah bless you. Thank you very much for your call. Sheikh, I believe you got the question.
In terms of the minute, do you mean the minutes, the duration or time?
I believe so, yes.
I mean, there are lots of ad'iyah with this regard, from Abi Hamza al-Thamali, from Dua Makaram al-Akhlaq, as mentioned.
Yeah.
Each dua has a certain duration. You have ad'iyat munajat al-raghibin. There's like 50 munajat, again mentioned in the Mafatih al-Jinan. Less than a page each munajat. Lots of ad'iyah the Imam Salamullah alayhi has left for the mu'min and mu'minat to recite and read and reflect and ponder on the lines as we did tonight, alhamdulillah,
Yeah.
in Dua Makaram al-Akhlaq, the very first lines. So duration is something is up to you. I mean, you want to read fast, you want to read slow, you want to read the short ad'iyah, it's up to you to make your decision in terms of the speed of the dua or the amount. If it could be just a quarter, a paragraph, for example, amount of dua. So it depends really. You can choose and recite.
Okay. May Allah bless you, Sheikh. Thank you very much. And we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, what are the manners to make dua which gets qabul according to Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam?
In overall qabul al-dua,
Yes.
you see there are conditions mentioned. I'm not sure which hadith or this is about by the Imam alayhi salam.
Yeah.
But we have, in terms of accepting the dua, the one should be attentive to the what he says, and nothing to distract this individual from reciting the dua. To be pure and tahir, wudu, for example, also, and so forth. Not to have any haram in his stomach, or where's haram or haqq al-nas, for example.
Correct.
There are conditions for the dua to be accepted when it comes. For example, we have a statement which says, if the beginning of the dua started with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Muhammad and ended the dua with the salawat,
Yes.
Allah Azza wa Jalla would accept this dua, for example. The salah at the beginning and at the end, for example.
Yeah.
And one can refer back to hadith to this regard as well, mentioned in Mafatih al-Jinan before some ad'iyah, for example. So one can do so as well.
Inshallah, may Allah bless you, Sheikhna. And thank you very much. And we have another question, and it is via WhatsApp, and it says, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I hope you all are well. Ramadan Mubarak, may Allah bless you, inshallah. Give you Ramadan Mubarak to you and your blessed family, inshallah. And it says, I have a question for mut'a or short-term marriage. What do we have to recite, and what are the conditions? Can you please explain? Thank you very much. Or what are the rulings for the short-term marriage or mut'a?
The rulings are in the Risala Amaliyah,
Yes.
or the Islamic practices and deeds of your alim, of your marja. If you go there, it's in English and in Arabic mentioned. The conditions are also mentioned. Anyhow, it's similar to the long-term marriage, as I've said before. She must not be married to somebody else. If she's a virgin, you have to ask permission from the father. So it's similar to the long-term marriage. Some of the huquq, may not be applied to the short-term. But in anyhow, it's similar to the long-term marriage. But as I've said, if you want the exact wordings, you have to go back to the Risala Amaliyah fi Marji', and it's mentioned exactly in that section how to recite by yourself or on behalf of the individual. One can recite. If they can't speak English, for example, some would say, no, you have to have someone else to recite on her behalf because she can't speak English, for Arabic, for example. So there are different views with this regard about recitation of the aqid when it comes to the non-Muslims or those who cannot speak Arabic, because the woman she starts to recite zawajtuka to the end, and then he says qabiltu. So if she can't recite and read these words, of course, she needs to have somebody else as a wakil who would do the aqid instead with the man.
Inshallah, may Allah bless you, Sheikhna, and thank you very much. And we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, how long does one stay in the grave before the transition to the barzakh world?
No, when the one goes inside, as I mentioned, the hadith, that when the one goes inside and is buried, number one, the malakan would come and do the hisab.
Yes.
That man rabbuka, man nabiyuka, man imamaka, ila akhirih. There's a hisab in the beginning, and then he goes to the barzakh afterwards. When exactly, I'm not sure. You know, we don't know the unseen world.
Correct,
We
yes.
haven't been there. But in anyhow, there are initial hisab before they go actually towards the barzakh, in which they would see their place in paradise, inshallah. If they're mu'min, and na'udhu billah, they would see their place in pit fire, na'udhu billah.
Na'udhu billah.
If they're kafir or munafiq.
Yes. May Allah bless you, Shaykhna. And thank you very much. And we have another question, and it says, can I be in a friendly relationship with a girl in my class, according to Ayatollah Sistani?
The Sayyid mentions that all kinds of such relations are not allowed without the boundary of aqd and nikah contract. As I've said before, banter, joking, all these things that causes that kind of romantic friendship would cause a haram relationship as a result. So the best thing one should avoid, if they really want to do so, they have to find the right partner, the right person, and perform the aqd with them, aqd al-zawaj, be it long or short term, to make it halal. Otherwise, it's not permissible.
Okay, may Allah bless you, Shaykh, and thank you very much. And we have another question, and it says, can we pray the nawafil or mustahab prayers on the chair without any reason, according to Ayatollah Sistani?
The Sayyid mentions that no, you cannot pray on the chair when you can actually stand and pray.
Okay.
However, Ayatollah Shirazi, he mentions that yes, you can pray because these are nawafil. These are nawafil in which you can pray them on the chair as well. And you pointed towards the position of the sujood.
Yes.
So there's no actual sujood. But as I've said, Ayatollah Sistani would not accept it. He says even the nawafil mustahab prayers, you have to stand and pray if you can stand and pray.
Yes. May Allah bless you, Shaykh. Thank you very much. Dear viewers, before we get back into the questions, I would like to remind you all that you can send in your questions via WhatsApp, or you can just drop them in the comment section below our live on our YouTube channel at Imam Hussein TV 3, or you can give us a call via WhatsApp via the number presented to you at the bottom of the screen, or you can also scan the barcode presented to you alongside with the number, and inshallah our WhatsApp page will pop up, so you can send in your questions or give us a call and ask your questions regardless of any major you follow. Inshallah, we'll be at your service and answering them. May Allah bless you and thank you very much. Shaykhna, we have another question, and it says, the person who is required to perform the qada of the salah he missed, is he allowed to perform the optional mustahab salah?
Yes, one can do so, especially in the nights of Qadr, for example. We have mustahab salah for each night. One can do so, pray those mustahabat salah, but they have 1 or 2 years, let's say, missed salah, in which they have to make it up later, or even now if they can, as soon as they can, to make up and the qada of their salawat. But there's no conflict between praying mustahab salah and praying the qada salah. You can do them in line together.
Correct. May Allah bless you, Shaykh. Thank you very much. And we have another question, and it says, questions about reciting Quran. Is it permissible to recite the Quran fast? So it's just 3 questions, so we'll answer the first one. And it says, is it permissible to recite the Quran fast?
There's no issue with it. You can recite fast, as long as you can pronounce the words correctly and you don't do any mistakes with the recitation. If you can recite fast, should be fine. To finish Quran and then repeat the Quran again and do like 3-4 khatma of Quran in this holy month, that would be a credit,
May Allah bless you, Shaykh. Thank you very much. And the second question is tajweed obligatory?
Not at all. It's one of the preferred ways for the one to recite tartil or tajweed, to beautify the recitation of the Holy Quran.
And the third question is, do Shi'as have different method of reciting the Quran?
As far as I know, it's the same method in terms of recitation. If it's to do with tajweed, we have the Iraqi way, which is a sad way when they recite it. Same way of recitation. I don't think there's any difference with the other sects in Islam. It's the same way of recitation.
Yeah. May Allah bless you, Shaykhna. Thank you very much. And Shaykhna, we have another question, and it is via YouTube, and it says, can you provide me with any source that proves that Qadi Nu'man, the author of Da'im al-Islam, accepted 12-er Shi'ism during his life?
I haven't looked into this book, so I have to do a research and then come back to the brother. على كل حال.
Inshallah. May Allah bless you. Thank you very much. Inshallah, your viewer will have your answer ready, inshallah. Shaykhna, we have another question. It says, is it permissible for someone who is following the Ahl Bayt school of thought to perform a prayer with holding his hands to his chest due to some certain reasons when interacting with Sunni school of thought?
It's not permissible. You have to basically pray your Salah.
Yeah.
And without folding your hands on your chest. And that's not permissible unless it is the condition of Taqqiyah, as mentioned. And that's to do with life-threatening situation, which is a dangerous situation in some countries, like Afghanistan, for example. The one who lives within extremists in that region. If they find out, they will kill him. They will behead him, basically. Taqqiyah has its own rule, and it's a Quranic notion. إلا أن تتقوا منهم تقاتا, in Surah number 3, ayah 28, that unless it is to protect your own selves against them. So tuqat, taqiyya is in the Holy Quran. Nobody can accuse us of us trying to hide our aqidah and religion and say that we respect all, the companions and so forth. You see, there are some ulama and lecturers and speakers, they openly curse.
Correct. Yeah.
Some of those who oppressed Ahl Bayt alayhim salam. So there's no hiding aqidah or something. Yes, unless it's an individual issue in a certain country, location, where he or she is in danger. That's a different issue. Otherwise, it's all there on TV, on YouTube, and social media. People speak openly against those who oppressed Ahl Bayt from the beginning of the Prophet's demise till many centuries. People still curse and do saying la'an. This is something open. We can see them. So we don't hide our aqidah unless we are in a severe, dangerous situation.
Correct.
And it's Quranic notion. إلا أن تتقوا منهم تقاتا. We follow the Quran and Ahl Bayt.
Yes. May Allah bless you, Shaykhna. Thank you very much. And we have another question, and it says, is the wet position of which a dead cat or dead rat have fallen regarded as impure, according to Ayatollah Bashir al-Najafi?
Yeah, the Shaykh mentions that it is regarded as impure because if a dead cat or rat dies, or if it's dead, then of course the flesh and the skin all becomes najis.
Yes.
If it's wet, for example, and you touch it wet, of course, that's how impurity transfers to the body when that animal is wet, for example.
Yes.
And such like with blood and other najasat. So there should be wetness. Without wetness, it's not going to transfer the najasa.
Yeah.
So if you have let's say a dog, and it's dry, and you touch it, you don't have to wash your hand for najasa. There's no najasa transformed from the body of this dog to your hands or body. Unless the dog licks or you touch it with the wet hands, for example, then of course you have to purify it for, let's say, salah and other acts of worship.
May Allah bless you, Shaykh, and thank you very much. And we have another question. It is via YouTube, and it says, what is the best dua to make to Imam Ali alayhi salam?
Is it for the Imam Ali, to Imam Ali alayhi salam? It's not really clear, the question. Is it to Imam Ali alayhi salam? I mean, what kind of dua is it? Is it for us to ask Allah Azza wa Jal? You see, the question is not really clear.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't really answer.
Okay. May Allah bless you. Thank you very much, Shaykhna. And we have the last question of the night, and it says, if a woman is over 30 years of age and still virgin, is it necessary for her to seek the permission of her guardian for marriage, according to Ayatollah Sistani?
The Sayyid mentions that even if she is, initially if she is independent, if she's, let's say she lives with her family, and not independent. So basically she gets the money from her father. Yes, it's wajib, obligatory for her to seek his consent, the father's consent.
Yeah.
Then the Sayyid mentions that even if she is independent, she's got her own flat, her own career, her own study, away from the parents, because she's a virgin. You see how Islam protects the virgin girls from being misused by those predators.
Correct,
or
yes.
intruders.
Yeah.
To cheat, to deceive them, and leave them, at the end of the na'udhu billah act. So to protect them from indecency. So that's why even the Sayyid mentions, even if she's independent, own flat, own business, work and everything, she still, as an obligatory precaution, she needs to ask permission from the father again.
Yes.
This is all for protection of the girl.
Correct, yeah.
In this situation. Yes, when she gets, she's married,
Yeah.
then she divorces, now she's got experience, she knows who to pick and choose for the second marriage or third marriage, depending on how many divorces. Now, afterwards, of course, she's got her own will and freedom to marry herself to whoever she wants, because now she's got experience, she's got kids. As a result, she can do so. But as a virgin, Islam protects this type of, let's say, part of the society to be misused, as I've said.
Correct. May Allah bless you, Sheikh, and thank you very much. Dear viewers, brothers and sisters in Islam, we have come to the end of tonight's show. But inshallah, we are live every single night up until the end of the holy month of Ramadan. So you can send in your questions via WhatsApp, or you can just drop them in the comment section below our live, and inshallah we'll be at your service in answering all of your questions regardless of any marja you follow. And you can also give us a call via WhatsApp via the number presented to you at the bottom of the screen, or you can just scan the barcode presented to you alongside with the number, and inshallah our WhatsApp page will pop up so you can send in your questions, give us a call, and we'll be at your service in answering all of your questions. But for the time being, we'll leave you with the beautiful atmosphere of Karbala, and also to put you under the dome of Abi Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, hence the name of Imam Hussein TV, your gateway to Karbala. And we say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alim Mola, 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 Ali, Faris Ilahi.
وبلا مضاهي باسمك نباهي